Wednesday, June 12. This is the news on PBCJ. I am Simone Absalom. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is reporting that it is probing concerns that some private trucking companies have retrofitted cesspool trucks and are using the vehicles to deliver drinking water in the corporate area. The concern was raised at a recent meeting of the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation. The ministry says the matter is under investigation. It notes that as part of its regulatory responsibility, it continues to monitor the production and distribution of potable water intended for domestic and commercial consumption. According to the ministry, quality checks are carried out by public health inspectors across the island on a weekly basis. Jamaica has become the first country in the English Caribbean to join the Coalition of Finance Ministers for Climate Action. The Coalition of Finance Ministers for Climate Action was launched in April 2019 by the World Bank Group and the International Monetary Fund. It is aimed at driving stronger collective action on climate change and its impacts. The coalition abides by 7 principles called the Helsinki Principles, which promote national climate action, especially through fiscal policy and the use of public finance. These principles are designed to support finance ministers to share best practices and experiences. A statement from the Finance Ministry says Jamaica, like other island developing states, is highly exposed to extreme weather events and climate risks in the face of climate change. Jamaica is among 30 countries to have joined the coalition. Minister of Finance Dr. Nigel Clark highlighted that Jamaica is ranked 4th in Latin America and the Caribbean for its capacity to successfully undertake public-private partnerships, according to a recently released report by the Economist Intelligence Unit. While speaking at the Development Bank of Jamaica's 2019 conference, themed Delivering Economic Growth Through Partnerships, Financing Regional Infrastructure, SMEs and Innovation, held at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel on Tuesday, Clark noted that Jamaica's ranking is a testament to the efforts made to build Jamaica's PPP capacity, and it serves as an indicator that Jamaica can also transition to open, transparent, and competitive procurement for large-scale infrastructure projects. The minister stated that over time, the GOJ invested in the required domestic capacity to transition energy procurement from direct negotiations to being conducted by way of open, transparent, and competitive processes, which has delivered huge gains to Jamaica. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Senator Pernell Charles Jr., says there is no better time to participate in the Jamaican economy. Minister Charles Jr. indicated that with support given to small, medium enterprises and the investments being made in infrastructure, the country is poised for growth.
There's no better time to participate in the Jamaican economy. And there's no better time to forge partnerships with the Jamaican government. I say so because we are ready to facilitate investments and innovation in all areas of our economy. And we are ready to implement the critical infrastructure and to expand our SMEs and to boost entrepreneurship.
Minister Charles Jr. was addressing the audience at the Development Bank of Jamaica's Private Equity Infrastructure SMEs Entrepreneurship and Innovation Conference at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel on June 10. The minister told the gathering that investing in infrastructure and facilitating the expansion of SMEs are important and impactful drivers of economic growth.
Infrastructure investment is a very important part of what will be our economic success. The expansion, the modernization of our infrastructure will allow the government to fulfill its obligation to provide an environment where business can thrive.
Minister Charles Jr. concluded that the government is now focusing on catalyzing the growth of the country's micro sector through increased financing options. The Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries has announced that Jamaica will be exporting its first shipment of mangoes to the United States this Thursday. The mangoes are being exported under the Mango Irradiation Program. A ceremony to mark the occasion and observe the shipment process will be held at the Export Complex at Donald Sangster International Airport, Montego Bay, St. James. The ceremony will be attended by Minister without portfolio in the ministry, J.C. Hutchinson. An audit report on the Auditor General's Department was tabled in the House of Representatives on Tuesday, the first in approximately 10 years. Speaking at the sitting, the Deputy House Leader, Everald Warmington, raised some concerns surrounding the report.
But what is presented today, I must say, is somewhat deficient and, in a sense, unacceptable. What we have today is a ministry paper of certified appropriation account, head 0500. That's dealing with the appropriation account. I've been advocating for all these years that there must be certified audit accounts of every agency and department under government. There's no agency or department in government superior to any other. And if you have areas, requirements for other agencies and departments, every single agency and department of government must be subjected to the same requirement. And I want to see audited financial statement of this department, not only for 2016, 2017, 2017, but from the last 10 years.
Auditor General Pamela Monroe Ellis yesterday made it clear that she takes no issue with the tabling of a report on the operations of her department in Parliament.
That the requirements for the audit of the Auditor General's Department should be done because it is the right thing to do. Good governance necessitates that. It should not be demanded because of an unfortunate view held that the Auditor General Department criticizes other government entities year after year. That questions the objectivity of the call for such an audit. The work of the AUGD is defined by the Constitution. The Auditor General's Department is the third arm of control as set out in the Constitution, the first being the Parliament and the second being the Minister of Finance. The Auditor General's Department exists to give the Parliament and the people of Jamaica the assurance that things are happening as they should.
She was responding to an article published in the media yesterday. She argued that the Ministry of Finance has, in fact, carried out a review of the department every year. When the results for the primary exit profile, PEP, are issued next week, the scores will be presented according to a scale and not according to percentages as prevailed with the preceding grade 6 achievement test, a move to closely align the profiles with global standards. As the Ministry of Education explains, it is statistically unsound to add scores for different subjects, given that the PEP subjects do not carry equal amount of total marks and are therefore on different scales. Manager of the Ministry of Education Student Assessment Unit, Terry Ann Thomas Gale, told the press conference yesterday this is the case in high-stakes exams such as the SATs in the USA, Program for International Students Assessment, and Cambridge exams. To arrive at the scaled scores, the ministry explained that the new raw score for each subject, mathematics, language arts, science, and social studies, will be transformed to a standard score. Each standard score will then be totaled to derive a composite score by which students will be ranked. The student with rank number 1 is placed first in his school of choice, followed by the student ranked second, and so on. The Permanent Secretary, Dr. Grace McLean, said yesterday that the process is carried out using a computer algorithm. 2 security guards accused of stealing fuel from Lyndhurst Road Depot of the Jamaica Urban Transit Company in St. Andrew have been charged by the police. They were held during a sighting operation at the facility on Sunday. In a statement Tuesday afternoon, the JUTC said the men were employed to contracted security companies. According to the JUTC, preliminary investigations revealed that the guards are alleged masterminds in a gas stealing ring at the depot. It is reported that about 7 o'clock Sunday morning, JUTC personnel conducted an operation and found several 5-gallon plastic bottles containing fuel. They were hidden in the drainage system on the compound. The JUTC said the operation is ongoing and expected to reveal the extent of the pilfering, which includes batteries, fuel, and pieces of aluminum scraps removed from buses. The US dollar on Tuesday, June 11, ended trading at $130.67, down by 35 cents. That's according to the Bank of Jamaica's daily foreign exchange trading summary. The Canadian dollar ended trading at $98.68, down from Jamaican $99, while the British pound sterling ended trading at Jamaican $164.55, down from $165.06. Regionally, the Caribbean Development Bank, CDB, announces, notwithstanding the prediction of deceleration in global economic activity, the 2019 economic outlook for its borrowing member countries is positive, foretelling economic growth of over 2%. In its 2018 annual report issued at the start of the bank's 49th annual Board of Governors Conference, the CDB announced the world gross domestic product is assumed to dwindle to 3.5% this year from 3.7% in 2018, and blamed multiple conditions like Britain's continued attempts to leave European Union and the economic retardation in China. The CDB, the region's premier economic institution, said that the Caribbean's susceptibility to these risks is great, and as is, it's vulnerable to weather-related activities. Nevertheless, GDP is predicted to climb by 2.1% as tourism, construction, and extractive industries such as oil and gold increase. In sports Minister Olivia Grange says her government is embarking on a program to provide greater support and better access to women and girls in sport. Addressing the FIFA Women's Football Convention in Paris, France last Friday, Grange said the government of Jamaica was leading the way in creating a friendlier environment for women in sport. Minister Grange also told the FIFA convention that the government was working very closely with the Jamaica Football Federation to ensure that the support is there for women's football. Grange said the Reggae Girls' historic qualification to the Women's World Cup had created waves throughout the country and throughout the Jamaican diaspora and the Caribbean. Recently, Grange announced new rules for local sports federations to access funding from the ministry, including the Sports Development Foundation. The rules require federations to give greater support to Special Olympians, Paralympians, women, and girls. And that's the news on PBCJ. Pleasant viewing.